section tonight, beautiful section from chapter 14, is called The Holy Meeting Place. And this is not a new idea with the Course in Miracles. This is what I would call a classic idea, although the Course is going to look at aspects of it that you may not have encountered before. So the earliest one that I recall is when Moses encountered the burning bush up on the mountain. That was a meeting place between God and Moses. And there are, of course, other stories found in traditional literature of meeting places. We're going to look at the Course in Miracles rendering of that. Before we do, however, I thought that we would read the paragraph just before this section from the previous section entitled Sharing Perception with the Holy Spirit. So, hello and welcome to Miracles on High Plains. My name is Jonica, and Atisha is our reader for this session.
Seeing with Holy Spirit will show you that all meaning, including yours, comes not from double vision, but from the gentle fusing of everything into one meaning, one emotion, and one purpose. God has one purpose which he shares with you. The single vision which the Holy Spirit offers you will bring this oneness to your mind with clarity and brightness so intense you could not wish for all the world not to accept what God would have you have. Behold your will, accepting it as his, with all his love as yours. All honor to you through him, and through him unto God.
Mhm. This is so lovely. So I wanted to capture once again this moment that we're referring to here and just refer to it a few times here. So, what is it saying? That by sharing the perceptual system that the Holy Spirit offers, sharing, if you will, the viewpoint of the Holy Spirit, you will learn, you will come to understand that everything that is truly meaningful, including the meaning of yourself, comes from a gentle fusing. This is what the Holy Spirit will do, a gentle fusing of everything into one meaning, one emotion, and one purpose. And we might say that meaning, that emotion, that purpose is love. And that this is God's plan, is that we all unite around a common purpose. And so then that would be the ultimate state, everything united around a loving eternal purpose. To get to that state, what is required for us to get to that state? Well, the Holy Spirit offers us a vision, a perceptual system, a new thought system, a new way of looking at the world, at all our relationships, at ourselves, at life itself. The Holy Spirit will offer us a vision that will bring this oneness to your mind with clarity, with understanding, that will be beyond anything that we experience in this world. It will be so intense that you will know it when you see it. And when you see it, you will realize that this is about your own divine nature. This is who you are. You will behold your will and accept your will as the creator's and realize that this love that is being offered is yours as well. So with that in mind, we go on to reading from section 14.8.
In the darkness, you have obscured the glory God gave you and the power he bestowed upon his guiltless Son. All this lies hidden in every darkened place, shrouded in guilt and in the dark denial of innocence. Behind the dark doors you have closed lies nothing, because nothing can obscure the gift of God. It is the closing of the doors that interferes with recognition of the power of God that shines in you. Banish not power from your mind, but let all that would hide your glory be brought to the judgment of the Holy Spirit, and there undone. Whom he would save for glory is saved for it. He has promised the Father that through him you would be released from littleness to glory. To what he promised God, he is wholly faithful, for he shares with God the promise that was given him to share with you.
Mm-hmm. So again, the Holy Spirit is our guiding light in this journey. And when attempting to help us move forward, we encounter what they refer to here as a door. It's a symbol. It's not a physical door but it's a door within your mind. More specifically, it's a door within your thought system that tells you things that are not true. It's a closed door. It's a door. So an example of this, and I'm reluctant to cite a specific example, but an example would be of this, I'll be abstract. If someone refers to something that historically you have not cared for, or maybe it's a group of people whom you had an experience with that you don't wish to repeat again, and someone mentions that, immediately the door shuts. It's not open to seeing those people in the light, but immediately the door shuts and we refer backwards in time to judgments we've already made in the past and attempt to, so to speak, call up that guilt from the past into the present. It's a shut, it represents a door in the mind that is shut. Everyone has experienced this, so we're not talking about something that's far removed. What's unique is oftentimes it's not pointed out. No one might have pointed out that there are doors in our perceptual system, judgments and guilt from our past, where we don't allow the new light to come in. And so freedom from these closed doors comes about first by recognizing that we've closed certain doors in our mind. And then second, once we recognize the door is closed, we then have a choice. Do we want to keep it closed, or are we willing to ask for help from Holy Spirit to open that door? You can't do it by yourself. So you ask for Holy Spirit to help you. And then that becomes your path for healing, is to be willing to open the doors that were previously shut. Paul, you had your hand up.
Oh, yeah. Well, you touched on it, Jonica, but I just wanted to share that previous to this lesson, I was always focusing more on the good thoughts and sort of suppressing or just letting the bad thoughts kind of try to let them go, but still kind of suppressing them. And I find this to be very liberating. You talked about freedom, and it's so much easier just to let all of the thoughts go and then let the Holy Spirit kind of gently correct the ones that are wrong. And it's a lot less effort, trying to just focus on the good thoughts because the bad thoughts are still there. So this has been very helpful to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, Paul. It's so true. Even when practicing A Course in Miracles, people oftentimes miss the essential step. They may begin to start to recognize a dark thought, and then they'll do what Paul referred to it. They'll just turn their attention towards something else. That is not how the Course states we should heal. It states that we should offer that dark thought to the Holy Spirit so that it might be transformed, and she has the transformation ready, the thing that would bring healing and forgiveness. So it always involves engaging, choosing to join your higher power for assistance in keep opening the door that's previously been closed. So it begins with recognizing the door was closed, but the important thing is to ask for the Holy Spirit for help in opening the door. And wouldn't you know it, but the Holy Spirit is an expert at this. In fact, Holy Spirit has made an eternal pledge to the Creator. He has promised the Father that through him you would be released from little thoughts to heavenly glory. It's a promise by the Holy Spirit. It's not something that we are, as individuals, in control of and aware of. It's but more like little children coming before the Spirit asking for help. The Holy Spirit has the big picture in mind. The promise has already been made to what the Holy Spirit has promised God. He is wholly faithful, for he shares the promise that was given him to share with you. So again, oftentimes if we get sick physically, we put ourselves in the hands of a physician. Well, this is on the spiritual plane. If we find a closed door of judgment and guilt and fear in our mind, we turn to the divine physician, the Holy Spirit, and admit that we've got something here that we need help with. And the promise of the Holy Spirit is a guarantee that she will be there for you if you are willing to express your own desire for healing. She won't force it on you, but she'll always be there to help. Okay, so we're beginning to introduce, but haven't quite got to what we mean by the holy meeting place.
He shares it still for you. Everything that promises otherwise, great or small, however much or little valued, he will replace with the one promise given unto him to lay upon the altar to your Father and his Son. No altar stands to God without his Son, and nothing brought there that is not equally worthy of both, but will be replaced by gifts wholly acceptable to Father and to Son. Can you offer guilt to God? You cannot then offer it to his Son, for they are not apart, and gifts to one are offered to the other. You know not God because you know not this, and yet you do know God and also this. All this is safe within you, where the Holy Spirit shines. He shines not in division, but in the meeting place where God, united with his Son, speaks to his Son through him. Communication between what cannot be divided cannot cease. The holy meeting place of the unseparated Father and his Son lies in the Holy Spirit and in you. All interference in the communication that God himself wills with his Son is quite impossible here. Unbroken and uninterrupted love flows constantly between the Father and the Son, as both would have it be. And so it is.
Mm-hmm. So let's be very clear what is being talked about here. We're talking about a soul experience, an experience you have within your soul that is referred to as the inner altar. And at the inner altar is where you encounter your God. It's deep within you already, so to speak. It's where the inner light shines from. It's a part of the depth of your being. And we are told that once we do recognize something that does not belong in our soul, where we have a thought, a judgment, a fear, anger, jealousy, whatever words might come up to express those darker side, when we recognize that, we are told we should bring it to the altar within. We should bring it as an offering, as something we are willing to give up to the Holy Spirit. And it says, nothing brought there that is not equally worthy of both God and Holy Spirit, but it will be replaced by gifts wholly acceptable to the Father and the Son. This is why we engage the Holy Spirit when we recognize something that needs to be undone, because the Holy Spirit will replace it with a gift that we can use here and now. It'll be a gift that is well suited to exactly what you need. It's God's answer to your prayer. And so the Holy Spirit is there to do, you can think of it like a gift exchange. You bring, you bring what is undesirable in your life, in your mind, to the altar, and the Holy Spirit accepts that, that you're willing to let go of that, and she in turn exchanges it for a gift. So this altar where that is done is what we will refer to as the holy meeting place. And there is more to the story. So we mentioned that the Holy Spirit is there waiting for you. She would be, shall we say, the first entity that you become aware of. In traditional language, we would say you're aware of your sin and you're willing to confess your sin and ask for forgiveness. That would be a traditional way of saying it. Here we're saying you have a judgment of guilt or fear or some other emotion that you realize is robbing you of your peace, and you bring it to the Holy Spirit. you then have an exchange, and when you have that exchange, you actually begin to adopt the Holy Spirit's view of life, of reality, of the present moment. And that illuminates your inner being to see more at the altar than you were able to see when you were carrying your darkness. What more can be seen? What says here is at the altar is both the Father and the Son are also at the altar. So now it's starting to fill up in here. We've got the Holy Spirit at the altar. We've got the divine Holy Son at the altar, and we've got the Holy Father at the altar. And later on, for those students that have been here for a while, we're going to find out that the entire sonship is also at the altar, but we'll leave that aside for another day. So this inner altar is your connection to all of creation. So and I should say that from an inner spiritual experience, in terms of this journey with the Course in Miracles, this is as deep as it gets. So we're going deep here. And any effort on your part, a beginner effort is welcome. All it takes is a little willingness on your part to acknowledge the need for healing and bring that need to the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit will provide all the rest, all the guidance. And so we call this the meeting place where God, united with his Son, speaks to his Son through the Holy Spirit. So this is where you hear the voice of Speak for God. This is where you become aware of the vision of Christ. This is where you become aware of the Father's love for all of creation and of your part in all of creation. So it all happens here. It's a state in reality. Whether or not you realize this, it takes some letting go of your unwillingness and your reluctance and your fears before you will wake up to this reality. But this is a place where unbroken and uninterrupted love flows constantly between the Father and all of creation. Heidi, you had your hand up.
Yes, I'm wondering, why can God not speak to us directly? Why does it have to be through the Holy Spirit?
So it has to do with our need for healing, Heidi. The Holy Spirit is able to meet us where we're at. And as you know, a lot of times when we turn to Spirit is when we're at our bottom, we're desperate, we're afraid, we feel lost. The Holy Spirit has the ability to meet you where you're at. The Creator remains at the high place, and we have to be willing to rise up to meet the Creator at the high place. So think of it like a journey. It begins with being met where you're at, and over time, as we shed our unwillingness, we rise up and can meet the Creator on his own terms.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Okay, so I think we've said clearly enough, this holy meeting place, you want to go there. You don't want to wait until a crisis in your life where you are desperate and in pain to go there the first time. You want to do this daily so that when the storm clouds do rise in your life, this is a familiar place. You know how to navigate into past those closed doors. You know how to navigate the territory. Experience will teach you how to navigate this territory. Well, I think I did one too many there. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, we'll go on.
Let your mind wander, not through darkened corridors, away from light's center. You and your brother may choose to lead yourselves astray, but you can be brought together only by the guide appointed for you. He will surely lead you to where God and his Son await your recognition. They are joined in giving you the gift of oneness, before which all separation vanishes. Unite with what you are. You cannot join with anything except reality. God's glory and his Son's belong to you in truth. They have no opposite, and nothing else can you bestow upon yourself.
Mm-hmm. So we, course always teaches by contrast. Let's focus first on what we should not do. So let's use the example of there's someone that you know and you have an encounter, and it, for whatever reason, it becomes very emotional and upsetting. Things are said that should not have been said. And now it's over and you're thinking about it on your own. Well, let not your mind wander through darkened corridors where you go back and continually replay in your mind what was said, how it was said, who the guilt, that we know that the ego is always looking to identify the guilty parties involved, assign the proper amount of guilt. This would be just analyzing the past as if it were happening all over again, wandering through darkened corridors away from light's center. Instead, open that dark door and head over to where the Holy Spirit is at light center, and where your guide to healing is waiting for you. In fact, you will learn as you practice to find this inner light center. It says the Holy Spirit will surely lead you to where God and his Son await your recognition. So it's really, to make this very simple, it's about when things go sour, where do you give your attention to? What do you attend to? Do you replay the past in your own mind, trying to find answers by your separated self? Or do you turn to your higher power, ask for help in healing from this? And I can assure you, a quick healing by the Holy Spirit is far more enjoyable than whatever amount of time you might spend wandering through dark corridors, which ultimately lead to nowhere. So, and not only that, but when you turn to the Holy Spirit and are willing, accept give her your judgment, your guilt in exchange for her gifts of oneness, then you get what I call the entire package. In other words, the Holy Spirit doesn't give you 1% of the blessing that you are entitled to. She gives you more than you asked for. She gives you 110%. For when you heal in a holy instant of healing, then you wind up uniting with your true being, the part of you that God created. You wind up joining with divine reality itself. This is what we call the eternal present. And there you get a glimpse, a partial glimpse into what it's like to stand in the divine light. And in that state, there are no opposites and nothing can interfere. So this program in the course is about learning to go to that place and be comfortable there, ask for the exchange and the healing, and learn to then just rest for a moment of time in the light. You'd be amazed. You wouldn't think that would be asking a lot, to rest for a moment in the blessing of the Holy Spirit. But we have to learn to do these things because we've forgotten how to. And everything that is needed for your healing is provided. Like I say, the entire package is given to us. Before we go on, Lenosa, you had your hand up?
Yes, I had one quick question. I know that, when we communicate with Holy Spirit, we get so much support. I was just wondering what some of the ways this group or you personally communicate. Like, do you meditate? Obviously, that's one of the ways to communicate, right? Like, is there other ways that I can? I really want to try to apply this to my life,
Yeah.
and I'm a very practical person, so meditation is definitely one of them. But if you know any other methods, I would appreciate it if you
Yeah,
could share.
thank you for the question. So I'm going to invite other people to share in just a moment. But let me say, Lenosa, that there's 101 ways,
Mhm.
and that we're not trying to suggest there's a short list that you must follow, like this is the way we do it this way. What we're suggesting is that God, when you turn to God, however you do so, He will meet you where you are. And so, yes, meditation works. Yes, prayer works. Yes, singing works. Yes, sitting in nature works. Yes, journaling works. Yes, doing workbook lessons in particular, because this is the Course of Miracles works. And there's more, yes, writing work. Well, journaling is writing. So there's a long list of things, and Spirit will guide you into the ways in which are most effective for you to use at this point in your journey. So that's the broad answer, but there are many more specifics that we can add. Let's let some of the people from the group share. Susie?
So mine is just really simple. I just talk to the Holy Spirit, like as if she were with me. And I just talk to her. Like, maybe that's praying out loud. I'm not even sure that I mean, I think we're always praying, but I just have conversations and talk to her, which is just really sounds so simple, but that's, for me, I feel like I can really communicate to the Holy Spirit what I'm feeling by talking.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's exactly what I did this morning too, after I read my lesson. um, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I see David says dancing as well. Dancing is one of my favorite things to do, especially on the beach. So that's wonderful. I didn't even think of that, because I think when you're in the moment, when you're really, really connected to you're aligned and you're connected, this presence, I think that's how we can establish connection and communication.
I just
Thank
want to
you.
I
Yeah.
just want to add one thing, that the Course talks a lot about, there's no cause outside of my mind, our minds, our
Mm,
thoughts. So I'll even just be walking down the street and say, "Oh, Holy Spirit, like I don't need to have that thought. It's not a healing thought. Please help.
mm,
Help correct my,
mm.
So I don't know. I just, yeah."
Mhm. Thank you. Noelle, you had your hand up.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Especially when I have a real quandary, I just sit, get as quiet as I can, and tell myself just empty, because I'm sure you know too that our minds can whirl around with all kinds of, should I do this? Should I do that? Well, what if I did this? But what if I did that? All of that kind of stuff. So that's why meditation and quieting the mind is so important. So when I'm quiet enough, I get myself into a feeling of just surrender. I even say the word, just surrender. And then something like Susie, I say, what should I do, Holy Spirit? And I wait. And the answers just come, or the answer. And it's always right because I can feel it. And it's always not that difficult. Once in a while it is, but not that difficult. And with really kind of gentleness, but intention, I act on it. And the outcome is always satisfactory.
That's amazing.
I'd be interested in your, if and when you practice some of these, I'd be interested in your report to us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have some, times that similar things happened. The synchronicities happen. The situation that I'm expecting supposed to be worse, and it turns something better. It's very magical. Thank you for all your answers. I some of the things I don't even think of, but I do it. But now I'm like, oh, that's conscious about them. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. We'll go on.
There is no substitute for truth, and truth will make this plain to you as you are brought into the place where you must meet with truth. And there you must be led through gentle understanding, which can lead you nowhere else. Where God is, there are you. Such is the truth. Nothing can change the knowledge given you by God into unknowingness. Everything God created knows its creator. For this is how creation is accomplished by the Creator and by his creations. In the holy meeting place are joined the Father and his creations. and the creations of his Son with them together. There is one link that joins them all together, holding them in the oneness out of which creation happens.
So lovely. So I wanted to point out to you this idea that there is a link. It's within you. It's a divine link that joins the Creator and his creations together. It's within, I said at the altar, is not only the Holy Spirit, the Christ Son, and the Creator, but also the entire sonship. It's a link that joins them all together, holding them in the oneness in which creation happens. This was part of the Creator's plan. This was as it should be. And does it happen? It happens wherever you are. Where God is, there are you. Such is the truth. The link goes with you because it is a part of your eternal being. And there's nothing that can imitate or substitute for this state. And so I want to just circle back on one idea that Noelle brought up when she shared about how she accesses it. And she used the word quiet. I get quiet. And from A Course in Miracles perspective, we would acknowledge that this link, which is really a type of communication link where you connect with the spiritual world, is always there shining brightly, but all the noise and chaos of life, and I don't mean just the sounds of the world, I mean the noise in your head and the noise in the world, those things serve to like doors that close, that hide us from the awareness of the inner light. And so learning to quiet the mind so it's not so busy is one of the chief abilities that we must develop in order to more easily access this divine link within us. The link is forever unimpaired, not impaired, but our ability to hear it depends on the ability for us to tune out all the nonsense and tune in to that which is truth. Before I go on, couple hands. Noelle?
I would appreciate anybody else corroborating this, especially to support Donoso, but it seems to get a little easier to get quiet and to, that word tune in to Holy Spirit. As I keep practicing, sometimes it isn't if I'm really upset about something, but gradually over time, and especially with practice, and the whole thing is mind training, it does get easier for me.
It does. Thank you, Noelle. Paul?
Oh, thank you, Jonica. Just you had said that in the space that you're joining with Holy Spirit, the Creator, and then all of sonship. I understand the first two, but could you elaborate a little bit more on connecting in this space with all of the sonship? .
Um, I we'll have to give the short version here, Paul.
That's fine.
But we will elaborate more in subsequent chapters on that. So when you uh, enter into the inner light and make contact with the divine within, it's not separate from all his creation. The creator doesn't step outside of the creation. So when you meet the creator, you encounter everything. That's the simplest way I know it. It. Think of it. This would be one perhaps way to conceptualize it, Paul. You're meeting the mind of God, and everything is contained within the mind of God. There's nothing outside of the mind of God. And so when you enter into that place, all reality is there. Matter of fact, I think that was one of the implications from the previous paragraph, that you cannot connect with anything except reality. Um, but the further elaboration on that, Paul, hold that thought and for next chapter.
The link with which the Father joins himself to those he gives the power to create can never be dissolved. Heaven itself is union with all of creation and with its one creator. And heaven remains the will of God for you. Lay no gifts other than this upon your altars, for nothing can coexist with it. Here, your little offerings are brought together with the gift of God, and only what is worthy of the Father will be accepted by the Son, for whom it is intended. To whom God gives himself, he is given. Your little gifts will vanish on the altar, where he has placed his own.
So I'll remind you again because it makes reference to your little gifts. Our gifts are the things we're willing to let go of. It's the things that we have in the past valued and held to be meaningful and important. We've given our power to. And here at the altar, when we're ready and willing to let go and turn those things over to the Holy Spirit, those become our little gifts and they will vanish on the altar. And in return, we will only be the gifts that God gives himself. I wanted to point out that it happened again. Paul asked the question. He wanted to know about how it could be that the entire sonship can be encountered at the altar. Well, because the altar is not an experience that we would think of as of this world. It's not an experience in time. It's an experience, a gift from beyond this world, from heaven. It's a experience that's in the eternal present. It's on the eternal line and not the timeline. And so we would think of it as a glimpse or an experience of heaven. And Paul wanted to know, how could everybody be there? How could all creation? Well, heaven is union with all of creation and with its creator. And so this holy meeting place, this eternal divine link, is the holy present. It's the divine gift whereby we come when we're ready and willing to come to that place. And in return for letting go of that which it will not suffice, we are given a glimpse, a holy instant, an experience of heaven itself. And as I like to say, it's the complete package. It's not just a part of the Creator's love, it's the whole thing. Our ability to recognize the entire sonship, to recognize the entire creation, that gets easier with time, as Noel suggested. That's not something that perhaps you should expect on initially, but as you more frequently visit that divine link and surrender all that is unnecessary, as you open those dark doors of your mind and let the light in, more and more clarity and understanding and vision comes to you so that you can recognize the divinity, the holiness, the heaven that stands before you. So that's as far as we go with our reading. But I wanted to say that there's many ways in which we can try to represent what this experience is like. And I'm not endorsing any one of them as better than any of the others. And matter of fact, in many ways, the artists have attempted to depict these things throughout history, and you might find some of them really speak to you. There's all kinds of ways to try to, on a visual plane, to try to access the idea of heaven, the heaven within, the kingdom of heaven within you, the divine link, all creation along with its creator within you. And so we're saying, let 1,000 flowers bloom. Let all those ways arise in your mind. Open the doors and let the light in. And the Holy Spirit will gift you with an understanding and a clarity which is specifically tailored to yourself. So that's as far as we're going to go in this session, but there's so much more that will be talked about in tomorrow in the next session and in the chapter beyond that. We hope that you can come back and join us. We want to acknowledge our visitors. Thank you, Denoza. And Mike K., thank you for being here. It's very good to see you. Let's see, Elizabeth, thanks for coming back. Adriana, David, Heather, Diane, thank you for being here. I don't know if you can hear us or not. You had audio. Oh, good. You solved that. Tisha, thank you for your reading. Yes. Simon, Noel, Heidi, David, Paul, Cheryl, Julie, Georgette. Did I say Heather? Noel? I don't know. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Much love to all.
Thank you, Atisha, for reading.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Atisha.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.